Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome in, everybody. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day. Happy Tuesday. Ryan, thank you. Appreciate you, Ryan. Nathan, what's up? So article is officially live, rollinginsights.com. This is obviously free. I'm going to do a nice big update to my rankings. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down position by position in the data space. So I'm going to work on that now that the article's up, and then I will go ahead and plug that data space into the article so you can find it right in there as well. I will try and get that added tonight or tomorrow before our stream. Tomorrow's stream will be at 11 per usual on Wednesdays with Steve coming on. So we'll see kind of what we can get into with him tomorrow. But I appreciate you guys. We're going to run through. We can talk about the article a little bit. We'll talk about the guys that I'm really heavy on this year. I think most of you knew, like Chase Brown, I think was obvious. George Kittle, I think was obvious. But some of the other ones, maybe you guys, didn't know. What do I think about Neighbors not practicing again? I'm not worried about it right now, but I think it was, I don't know if it was, what's today? Tuesday? I think it was yesterday. I said, I don't think, it was yesterday when we were talking offensive player of the year. I said I probably wouldn't end up with much of him on my teams. So I took the Opoy bet for him to kind of hedge that a little bit. I'm not worried about his injury right now. He's had this same toe injury for like 3 years at this point. I don't understand. I'm not him, so I don't know. This is stuff that he would need to be asked. I don't know if people have asked this and he's answered. I have no idea. But I know that he's had the same injury for like 3 years at this point. It didn't affect him last year in terms of like missing games at the end of the season. I think when you are ranking out receivers this year early on, I think he has as much of a ceiling as anyone. He's once again just going to be the raw focal point of the Giants offense. He had 170 targets or whatever it was last year. I don't see that number decreasing. And like I said, they did not shut him down last year, even though he had that injury. Now, would they do that this year? I don't know. I'm not worried about it right now. I think when you're weighing out the receiver options, though, around where he gets picked, it's probably somewhat of a factor. Like you would have to consider it a little bit. Like there is a chance that he has this nagging toe injury and the Giants aren't very good. And we get to the fantasy playoff weeks and they just shut him down. There is a chance for that, but I don't think it's likely. I'm not worried about the injury right now. But I personally have him ranked behind Nico Collins, who I have highlighted in this round 1 section. So I'm going to be taking Nico. Last year, you guys know I took a ton of Neighbors last year. He was like probably my highest owned player. I don't dislike him this year. It's just not how the draft kind of settles for me personally, but I don't think he's a bad pick if you want to take him. I'm not worried about the injury per se right now. Let's go. We'll kind of go down here and we'll talk about the guys that I highlighted. Obviously, I want you guys to go read the article, and so I'm not just going to go through the entire article. I want you guys to go read it and enjoy it and use it in your drafts. As far as the My Guys section, though, also, make sure you guys hop in the Discord, which you can see right down here at the bottom of rollinginsights.com, all the way at the bottom here. We've got the Discord, the Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all that good stuff. Make sure you click that Discord link and hop in so you can chat with us throughout the games. We've got preseason games this weekend. If you want to ask me questions about this article, you can do that in the Discord. If you want me to help you with your fantasy draft, I would be more than willing to do that in the Discord. So make sure you go down there, click that Discord link and hop in. It's obviously free to access. As far as the My Guys section goes, like I said, Chase Brown, George Kittle, I think you guys knew that. Nothing shocking there. Jameson Williams, someone that I'm going to have on quite a few of my teams this year. Kind of forecasting a little bit of change in philosophy for the Detroit Lions offense this year. I don't think they're going to be quite as run heavy. They lost Frank Ragnow, which is a sizable loss on the offensive line. B, I don't think they're going to be quite as good as they were last year, losing Ben Johnson specifically, which could force them into, some more throw heavy game script, assuming they're not just dominating all the teams they're playing. I think they'll be in more neutral or trailing game scripts, and that's going to affect the passing game. I think in general, they just want to throw the ball more anyways. They were very, very run heavy under Ben Johnson with David Montgomery, with Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't think they're just going to stop that, but I think there's room for that passing volume to increase, especially if they're in closer games. So I think the offense as a whole is going to skew a little bit more pass heavy. You still have Amon-Ra St. Brown there as a target hog. You still have, Sam Laporta, but I don't know. Jameson Williams, someone that I like to bet on in general. He kind of finally broke out last year, and I think he can continue that success this season. I'm very high on him. Would you take him over T-Mac? I would. I have him ranked pretty high. I mean, me personally, Ryan, we don't have to do this because of where he gets drafted. Let me pull this up, actually, just to give you the exact numbers. So he's currently the wide receiver 27. Oh wait, let me toggle this. Yeah, wide receiver 27 on average right now. I would have no problems taking him in like the 16, 17 range. Like I'm that much higher on him than anyone else. So I have him ranked very, very highly. Jameson Williams. Next, we have Travis Hunter, who, again, I like a lot. You guys know I've kind of been pretty good on these younger receivers in terms of hitting on them in recent years. I had Travis Hunter WR1 overall in this draft class. He obviously got drafted inside the top 5. I think they want him to be an offensive player first and then a defensive player. We saw that on Friday night or whenever it was, Saturday night, their first preseason game. He played 11 of 12 snaps with Trevor Lawrence. He's continually listed as starting receiver, backup corner on the depth chart. I think he's going to play on defense, but I think he is going to be an offensive player first. Really excited about this offense. Liam Cohen, him and BTJ together it's just not fair for defenses to have to account to that. I think they complement each other really well. BTJ on the outside, really winning downfield. Travis Hunter was very good in the slot at Colorado. I think it would make a lot of sense for Jacksonville to plug him in there this year. And I think he can have a monster season. So I really like him. I like him where he goes. I think his ADP will probably continue to creep up as we head towards, week 1. But I'm very comfortable. Even if it moves up a little bit, I like him a lot. I would like to prioritize him on my teams. Calvin Ridley, I think, is a value. I've talked about it on stream for the last 2 weeks. I think the Titans are going to be a lot better than most people. I don't know if I've ever been on Calvin Ridley. Like, I can't remember an article I've written season-long wise where I was recommending drafting Calvin Ridley. So you guys know I'm not biased year to year. This year, I think he is a good value where he gets picked. I think he's obviously the clear number 1. There's not a lot going on after him. You have Tyler Lockett, Chigakonkwo, but they're going to be looking for one of these rookies, whether it's DK or Io Manor. One of those guys is going to have to step up for Tennessee. I don't know when that's going to be. It could be early in the season. It could take until November. I have no idea, but he's going to get a ton of targets. Cam Ward is far, so much better than whatever he had going on at quarterback last year. And metrically, he wasn't bad last year for being an aging guy that I don't typically target. He wasn't bad metrically. He just really struggled from, that lackluster quarterback play. And I don't think that will be the case this year. So I like Calvin Ridley a lot. And then we get into some later round targets. Pop Douglas, he is a very, very late pick. He's basically free where he goes right now. So I've added him in here. I think in general, I know they have Steph Diggs. Like, there's a chance Pop Douglas is the highest scoring receiver on this team. And he is, if you play in like a 10-team league, I don't even know if he gets drafted. He'd be like the last 2 rounds. And then if you play in 12-team, he's still a fantastic value. So I like Pop Douglas a lot. He fits the mold. This requires a little bit of kind of telling a story, but I'm willing, to bet on that. We've seen Josh McDaniels excel with Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, DeMario Douglas, similar, body type to those guys. He's going to play in the slot. I like Drake May. I don't know if their offensive line will be significantly better, but they tried to address it. So I don't think it'll be any worse. And I like him a lot as a late round pick. Jordan Mason, we've talked about him on the stream. I took that fun bet. It was like 80-1 on him to lead the league in rushing touchdowns. I think he has 10 plus touchdown upside. Even if Aaron Jones plays a full healthy season, I still think he's going to be the goal line back. I think he's going to be very, very involved in the red zone. And when I'm taking receivers in round 10 or later, or running backs rather, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I think he's going to be, stable in his role. And then if there's upside for him, if Aaron Jones does go down, he could really, really elevate and be a top fantasy option. So I think Jordan Mason probably goes higher than most people would expect, but I'm comfortable where he goes. And then I threw Cam Ward in there. I don't know how much Cam Ward I will have on my fantasy teams, just because he gets drafted so late. And if you read the article, I'm pretty clearly kind of targeting the top end of quarterback, which means I'm not going to draft another tight end if I have, Lamar or Hurts or something on my team. But I'm just high on the Titans in general. And I think Cam Ward is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. And I wanted to include him in there. There's a few guys that almost made the list that didn't. Ashton Genty, Ricky Pearsall, and Tedero McMillan. Those are probably the 3 closest guys that were at one point going to be in this tier and then ultimately just didn't make it. I didn't want to have like 10 guys. I really wanted to hold it to, 7 or 8. But Pearsall, McMillan, and Genty were very close to being in this tier. You're taking the leap on Rice this year. Yeah, I like him again, Ryan. I mean, we got him. I still feel robbed from last year. I think we hit on that so well, where he was getting drafted. It was as clear as that first Chiefs game that he should not have been drafted where we were taking him. So I feel robbed that he was going to be a top 4 or 5 fantasy wide receiver last year. And obviously the knee injury happened and it didn't work out. I feel a little robbed from that. Still like him a lot this year. I'm waiting for his ADP to come back down. So pre-suspension news, I had him as like a top 25 overall player for this season. Now, I'm going to pencil him in for 5 games missed. I think it's probably going to be 4 or 6. So I'm just going to put 5 in the middle. That definitely affects things. But if he trends down a little bit in ADP, I would still be comfortable kind of clicking on him. I think once he comes back, he's going to assume the same role that we saw from him last year, which is extremely fantasy friendly. So I have no problems with him this season. Didn't include him really in the article just because I don't know right now how much I'm going to have of him because I don't know where that ADP is going to land, but I'm a big fan of his on the field. Don't know much about off the field, but on the field, I'm a big fan of his. And I think he's a fine pick again. As for McMillan, who you asked about, Ryan, I think he's going to crush. Honestly, if we take a look at the Panthers offense in general, I'm really big on Bryce Young. He played so good down the stretch. He looked great to me, which we talked about yesterday in that preseason game over the weekend. And, Dave Canales is one of the sharper coaches, I would say. Like I'm completely comfortable betting on a Dave Canales offensive piece. He really, really excelled during his time with Tampa Bay at getting Mike Evans good looks and like really utilizing his skill set vertically, getting him down the field. Um, so I know like Player Profiler has McMillan best comp to Drake London. I don't really know about that. I'd have to think about it, but regardless, he is a taller, bigger body guy. He can play that exact Mike Evans role for Dave Canales in this offense as opposed to, Tampa Bay. So, I think it's a great one-for-one fit with the Panthers. I'm in on Bryce Young taking this step forward. Clearly, they have a connection because they went to him early and often in that little bit we saw of him in that preseason game. So, yeah, I like McMillan a lot. I think he is a great pick. Pearsall, I don't really understand. I don't understand why he goes round 9. I'm a little bit confused by this. So, I mean, he had the whole drama, like he got shot last year, all that stuff, missed time, whatever. By the time we got to the end of the season, he was ascending. He was fantastic. If we look at his last 2 games last year, let me pull him up. He was getting first read on quite a few of Purdy's throws in those last few weeks. He had 6 for 69 and a touchdown against the Cardinals, and he had 8 for 141 and a touchdown against the Lions. So that's his last 2 games played. Like he was really, really coming on strong. Like I know it was the back end of the first, but you got to remember the 49ers drafted him in the first round. They clearly wanted him. And, there's uncertainty, a lot of uncertainty with the 49ers in general to start the season. They're not going to have Ayuk for probably 6 games, it sounds like. Jawan Jennings, I don't really know what's going on with him. I don't know if this is a real calf injury or if it's just a contract thing. I have no idea. But if it is an actual calf injury, that just takes him off the board for me. I'll just take Pearsall every time. I'm already, in on Kittle. So if I didn't have Kittle in the My Guy section, I probably would have put Pearsall in there. He's going to be the wide receiver 1 to start the season, I think. Even if Jennings ends up playing, at worst, it's like a 1A, 1B situation. But I like him as a player. They drafted him in the first round. And to start the season, he kind of has this opportunity to get his footing because of the consolidated targets that will be coming his way without Ayuk on the field. We already have Debo out of the mix. So I think he's a really good pick. He should be like a 7th or 8th round pick, in my opinion. You can get him in round 9. I think that's really, really good value. I want to see what happens with the Broncos running back situation. I like RJ Harvey a lot as a player. Sean Payton went out, took him in the 2nd round ahead of where I think he was, expected to be drafted. So it's very clear he's going to be, quote unquote, the lead back. I think he's going to get the early down work. We know that running backs have always been valuable for Sean Payton, but specifically, they've been valuable in the passing game. He throws to his running backs a lot. Now, RJ Harvey has that skill set. He can catch passes. He's going to get, targets. That's factual. But I do think we're going to see J.K. Dobbins playing on 3rd downs and clear passing downs. And that's a big boost for him considering where he goes. It's a pretty decent gap between where Harvey gets drafted and Dobbins. So right now, RJ Harvey is getting picked as the running back 25, and Dobbins is all the way down as the running back 37. So, I mean, I think Harvey's a much better actual football player right now. J.K. Dobbins is old. He wasn't super efficient last year. He had a good season for the Chargers, but wasn't crazy efficient. But if he's going to be in on passing downs and if he's going to be in catching passes, then, yeah, I'm going to be interested in J.K. Dobbins, outside the first 9 rounds. So I like him. Not someone I really anticipated heading into this draft season to be in on, but it kind of works out that way, especially if I go running back early. This 10th round and later range is where I'm looking to get back in on running back, and he kind of fits that mold. That was things I wanted to talk about clearly. If you guys have any questions on anything, you can ask, or you can hop in that Discord, like I said, and I can answer any questions you have in there at any time. And I will help you with your fantasy drafts in the Discord as well. Tomorrow is going to be a longer stream, 11 a.m. with Steve. I just kind of wanted to come on here today, highlight the article that came out. Hopefully, you guys go check it out and you enjoy it and use it in your drafts. Thank you guys for the support as always. Thank you guys for tuning in, and girls, guys and girls. Thank you. If you want, go like and retweet the article on X as well. That would help. I would appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll be live tomorrow at 11 a.m.